Greetings and welcome to the Mount Rushmore podcast. My name is Jeff, and as always, I'm joined by my good buddies Richard
Hello.
and Michael.
Howdy.
And it is the end of September, and I know what everybody's thinking. It's Super Bowl. Wait, no, I got that way wrong. And besides, nobody goes to the Super Bowl unless they're a billionaire. And this is the Mount Rushmore of attending a sporting event. Richard chose it. You
Yeah.
both attend sporting events, but I think Richard maybe outstrips both of us by far.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, that I was attending a sporting event and dealt with something that comes up on my list, and I
Oh,
thought,
cool.
you know what? We never really talked. We've talked about sports in the abstract before. We talked about things that happen at baseball games
Mhm.
that aren't baseball.
Yeah.
And we've had a few other sports topics, so we've never really talked about just what happens at a day or a night at the old ball field park yard.
Whichever
Cool.
one you go to.
Yes.
All right, so let's just jump right in, I guess. I guess I'll just pause right now. Richard, I heard you buffer. Is there buffering a little bit, or is it just on my end?
Even if it is buffering because it's recording locally, it won't actually. The recording
Okay,
won't have
okay.
any buffering.
Awesome. Okay, sorry. Okay. Richard chose it, so Michael begins.
My first choice is free giveaways. And
Nice.
maybe this happens more at baseball games where there are, 162 of them. And, the promotion staff has deemed that 100 out of those 162 games need to have some sort of towel from State Farm that also has the ball team's logo on it. Or, a T-shirt with a player's name on it, some sort of replica jersey, or
made out of the thinnest material humanly possible.
Yeah.
By the way.
Or if you're lucky enough, like a bobblehead night of a particular ball player, or if you're super lucky enough to go to something that is ultra specific to a fan base or a city. And I'm going to my first baseball game of the season, which is the season is ending in like a dozen days or so before it goes into playoffs. But our good friend and guest of the podcast, Scott, his birthday was last week, and I am I'm being dragged along, not dragged along because I love going to a baseball game, to the Dodger game this at the end of the week, which is the Elton John commemorative bobblehead night, where he's dressed up in the spangly.
Oh, cool.
From like one concert that he did 40 years ago. But our friend Scott is a big Elton John fan. Yes, at Dodger Stadium, and the outfit itself is kind of blue and gray. He's wearing a road uni, which is nice, good one, Elton. Famous sports fan, Elton John. But so I haven't gotten it yet, and we're going, and I kind of just fell into going with him. But it's one of those things that is so specific to a date, a time, a region, a team, a stadium that really marks you as like, oh, this took place here and there. But I think going to games in general where you get free stuff on top of going to see a game is always just great. Free stuff. Who doesn't like it?
Yeah. Richard, did you choose that also?
No, I didn't, but I love the pick. I did go to one Dodger game this year that was a giveaway night.
Yeah.
And we now have 4 Don Drysdale bobbleheads.
Oh, great.
That I'm the only one who knows who Don Drysdale is in the family. So that's fun.
Was he the banker who the Clampetts had their money with?
Yes, it's Mr. Drysdale. Yes.
Okay. That's a fun choice. And that, especially that Elton John is definitely, that's a place and time, very specific, because he did not do that for every Major League Baseball stadium that I recall.
No, that was a Dodger Stadium special.
Yeah.
And then that's when you start to know that to Michael's point, look, there are 81 home games every year. The promotion staff has about 50 to 55 good ideas in the course of a season. And the rest
just
of it
coming in and undercutting everything that I said, taking everything that I said in half, which is probably true, which, Richard is more of an expert. So
I'm just saying that when you start to reach out to like, oh, it's the organist bobblehead night. It's like, really? We're doing that? Okay, cool. I guess I can work with that.
Luigi, the upper deck peanut man, bobblehead night. Okay, all right. What's your first one, Richard?
All right, my first one is timing your food and drink options correctly.
Oh,
Oh
This
wow.
is a big one at Dodger Stadium for me. I go with my oldest, and we have very specific time. We're going to get food at certain times during the game. Before we get in our seats, we get our Dodger dogs, and then in about the third or fourth inning, we go get garlic fries. And then in the seventh inning or so, that's when we go and get the churro Sunday helmet.
Ah.
And so that we figured out how to time it out so you're not getting too stuffed, so you're too full for the churro ice cream sundae helmet.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but also that you're not like compacting everything into trying to eat like at the last minute and like making yourself sick.
Yeah.
Food plays a very big role in my enjoyment of most sporting events, but particularly baseball
Mm-hmm.
and particularly Dodger Stadium. It's just something that I have like a real visceral sort of connection. I probably connected to the Dodgers more through Dodger Stadium and honestly the food options there
Mm-hmm.
than I did anything else to do with the team when I first moved down here to LA. And
Did you
yeah,
did you say food and drink?
and drink. Um, you want to make sure you want to pace yourself.
Oh
You want to
sure,
make
yeah.
sure you want to make sure you get all your beers in because I think it's like what top of the eighth inning they stopped selling beer at
Mm-hmm.
Dodger Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say so. You gotta find that good balance of pacing yourself, but not getting screwed over by not having a beer for the last couple of innings.
Yeah.
this kind of leads into my second choice, which is related, kind of, but sort of, which is being hyper aware of the food costs and prices, food and beverage costs, and then immediately suspending that awareness and buying and doing whatever anyway. Because there's this moment where you're like, $13 for the smallest beer possible.
Yeah.
I'll have 4 beers, and then you're just like, this is, I know what I'm getting into. I'm gonna grouse about it for a second.
Yeah.
I'm gonna. Do I really need to get the? I'm getting the Cooley Coo chocolate malted thing. Whatever. It's like you're consumed by how expensive it is to eat out at a football game, baseball game, whatever, and then you're just like, to hell with it. When's the next time I'm gonna be here? And you're just
Yeah.
like, what happened to all my money? It went into this foot long dog that disappeared. Oh, now I feel terrible.
What what do you think? I kind of liken that to the movie theater pricing.
Yes.
Although like you don't go. I don't know. I don't go to the concession stand more than once in a movie theater, so I feel like I'm going to take the hit for a drink and popcorn and maybe candy. But Dodgers, you can do that 3-4 times. At,
Yeah, that's very interesting. It's funny with a theater, you run into that awful thing where like if you start eating all the candy and popcorn or whatever too early, you're just through the previews, and then you're
Mhm.
like, oh, come on, what did I do? There's
What's
nobody
going
walking
on?
up and down the aisle, no candy striper walking up and down the
Yeah,
aisle like,
yeah.
cotton candy, and you're like, oh yes,
Richard or Michael, are you as do you enjoy the food as much in a closed stadium, like like I think if there's something about
like a
eating,
basketball arena.
yeah, I think there's something about eating food outside that's enjoyable. Uh,
Yeah, there's a pleasant. It makes it feel like a picnic
hmm
that you're enjoying with 55,000 other people.
Yeah. Okay, what's your second one then, Richard?
All right, so my second one is tailgating,
Oh, fun.
which for me, being my one true sports love, or one of my two true sports loves, being college football, and attending I don't know how many USC games at this point in my life. I just associate tailgating with and that kind of experience with college football as much as I do anything that happens on the
hmm
field.
Oh, okay.
Um, especially at USC games where tailgating is great, where you can show up on campus and just claim a claim a spot.
Hmm.
And for me, my wife has parking on campus at USC, so it's a real win for me. So I can just roll up, park on anywhere I want on campus, and just unfold my little table and get my spread of cold cuts or cheese and crackers or chips and dip or whatever I got, and about 1,000 beers, and just enjoy myself. And I get to do that at USC games. I get to do that at LAFC soccer games. You can't do that at Dodger Stadium.
No.
That's a big no-no. Which I get. I understand they're that the baseball culture is not one that welcomes people tailgating and drinking for 2 to 3 hours before the game, and then going to the game and also getting hammered.
Hmm.
They don't want people getting that hammered, just normal hammered. The type of
Hmm.
hammered you could get buying $13 beers at the stadium.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think that it's a cultural thing. It's a um, generally, if you're going to like a football game, you'll see a lot of people in some sort of football cosplay, right?
Yeah,
Like someone's dressed up as a pirate, someone's dressed up as I don't know, wearing a big bear mask or costume, or
cheese head or something like that.
there is definitely a sense of um, this arena is acceptable for you to go buck wild, uh, wearing
Hmm.
beads or whatever kind of face paint and costume. You don't see like there's no like mariner cosplay that's out there.
Right.
There's no one that's out there that's dressed up like an angel sitting in like the
Hmm.
outfield pavilions. Let me stay within the AL West. No
Is anyone
rocket.
who's
Yes, no
anyone
rocket
who's
man dressed.
athletic? Just someone who's into athletics.
Hmm.
It's so, but the tailgating definitely gives into that because it's like it's you know anywhere from what 2 to 6 hour party beforehand where you're trying to get throwing around a football and someone's setting up a huge grill and someone is like devoted their life to doing this aspect, and they might not even go into the game itself. They might
Yeah.
sit out there and pay $100 to park and then set up a party every week and invite people over, then watch the game on like a portable television or who I very it's very strange.
And it's always good to have a friend who is more into the actual tailgating. Because for me, I'll just buy crap at Ralph's, like that's I don't need to cook. Maybe like a cold cut sandwich or something like that, and I'll just have a cooler full of beers. Now, like I've attended tailgates that our friend and former show guest Chapin Hazlett has been to, where he is parked right near the stadium. He's got a big swath of land devoted to his tailgate, and he's got grills, and it's a whole production, and I love it. I've been
All
a
his
couple of
serfs
times
come out to
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 help
tend
him.
to him. Yeah.
Yes, if someone is waving a palm frond at him. Yes, of course. But
Hey, what is
that's always helpful if you have someone who's is really into tailgating, and you can just sort of uh, ride their waves, so to
when do
speak.
you leave? Do you leave first in? Are you in your seat by the time the game starts?
Yeah, I am, and I'm actually for USC games. I was notorious for wanting to get into the stadium like 2 hours before the game started.
No, nerd alert.
Oh.
Here we go.
Yeah,
Teacher's pet over here comes in and
Huh.
can you please give me the first lesson of this football game, sir?
well, A, I wanted to make sure I got the right seat. And then B, I gotta watch what's going on in practice. I gotta watch the punter to see if he's looks like he's got his leg today.
Hmm.
I gotta know these things before the game goes on. So
Yeah. What
yeah, I enjoyed getting to the I enjoy getting to the games early if I can.
Mhm. Do you listen to the pregame show stuff out? Is that what you do too?
Yeah, either have that on, or especially being on in LA for college games, since a lot of times they're going to be night games and the
Uh-huh.
night games on the West Coast. So there's always other games happening earlier in the day. So
Yeah.
people will have TVs and they'll just be showing Ohio State games or Texas
Hmm.
A&M games or whatever, and you just sort of wander around, and it's a very collegial atmosphere, so to speak.
Mhm.
And you can go up to people and start talking to them, and hey, you don't have a beer, let me get you one, and all that kind of stuff. So
Mhm.
it's a
Exactly,
lot of
like,
fun.
"Do you
Do you
like
know what's fun?
sports? Hey, do you like sports?"
Anyone like football? Anyone like college football?
Do you know what's funny is I've only done tailgating. Well, maybe not. No, I've only been tailgating a few times, and um, a couple of those times.
The lines
Uh,
for the Clone Wars does not
oh,
attack.
okay. I've been tailgating 0 times. No, but the times we've gone, Emily and I, or we've been to like an opposing field. Like we went to like a Colts game at the Arizona Cardinals, and that's an interesting aspect of like trying to weave your way through the crowd, like in Arizona, trying to find the Colts people, like
Mm,
trying to
Right.
find the team that the opposition team that is like has their own little enclave set up, kind of in enemy territory, and um, generally people are very nice.
yeah.
Yeah. Even Phoenix fans who are
Even
kind
Phoenix
of
fans.
jerks. Anyway,
Okay, cool. Well, I know a lot of our podcast fans do the same thing that sports fans do. They might be all dressed up, wearing the Rushmore colors with their
yeah,
shirts off, cheering while they listen to the podcast. So
big foam heads
big foam heads, big
of
number
us.
one fingers, bigger numbers 1 through 4 fingers, and we appreciate that kind of support. And then we want to ask you to even get even more involved by creating suggestions for our future topics for the show and sending those in to us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Send them in, and that would be cool. And then we would love to maybe invite you on the show. That would be fun to have some more guests on the show contributing their awesome points of view. And now let's go back. So, Michael Winfield, what's your third choice?
It's the wave. I
Oh,
don't
wow.
care if people don't like the wave.
Hmm.
I enjoy the wave. I don't think that there is a set number of times that some people should do the wave. I
Yeah.
don't care if some people think that, um, oh, you shouldn't do the wave when your pitcher is pitching. It is so disrespectful. You're not.
Oh.
Get out of here. It is 50,000 people standing up in a wave, going around, and it's fun. It's fun
Hmm.
when it starts to get going and it fails. It's fun
Yeah,
when it goes around and then almost gets to the end and then starts a group didn't do attention. Then everybody starts booing those people.
Hmm.
It's fun for it's good on your joints. It's good to move around when you've been sitting
Yeah.
down,
yeah, very
for 2.5
cardiovascular
hours.
in
Yeah,
nature. Yeah,
there are a lot. There are a lot of health benefits to the wave. It's one of those weird things that is so low energy at times. You can do the wave sitting down with just your hands, counts.
Hmm.
You can do it with a full throated like whoa, and you're doing the wave itself, and you make the noise, the noise. That's the sound that the wave makes.
Yeah.
Um, but and I appreciate that there is like someone that goes to the game that is the wave starter.
Hmm.
That they're on a mission and they are going to get these waves going, and they're going to walk out like Mr. McMahon on WWF, just like
Hmm.
his chest pumped. He's just strutting around because look what I did. I made 50,000 people stand up for a second and a half.
Is it always the dudes at the first and third base? Is it always those people? Uh, I guess there are stadiums that have seating in the back too. Who starts the wave?
I don't know. At Dodger Stadium, I feel like a lot of times it does start in the outfield pavilions because
Yeah, there.
that's
That's
where
a
the
rowdy.
drunkest fans are. Yeah.
That's a rowdy group out there.
Okay.
I,
Do you, when you see the wave, it comes like, I am so easily influenced by consensus or whatever, by the crowds. So when I see the wave start, I kind of see it coming and go, "Come on, this again." And then by the time it comes to me, I think, I guess I gotta do this. There's so many people doing this wave thing. I better do this thing.
Same
That's
thing
a
happens when
wave,
someone hands you a
wave of
cigarette.
conformity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Peer pressure. Yeah. Is there any like, oh, okay, what does this apply to beach balls too? Like the beach ball knock
Mm.
around thing? Or is that a different thing?
That's interesting. the beach ball knockaround thing, you know, if it happens, I'd say if it happens too much that the ball gets on the field, you got to knock it off.
Okay.
But like, there's such great joy in the people that are batting around a beach ball in
Yeah.
the upper decks and try and like if it gets away from the usher, everyone is against that person. You know, secretly you want to see them come along and like pop that ball with a penknife or whatever, but then you're also like rooting for it to like it's like watching a video of like a criminal like trying to get away from the cops.
Hmm.
Like you really know that the guy should be caught and arrested,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
man, did he make great effort to
Yeah.
like jump over that hedge and the energy involved. It's like kind of
Uh-huh.
rooting for this. Oh, he
Yeah.
mugged somebody.
Oh,
I'm still
man.
kind of rooting for him to get away just a little bit.
That's awesome. Okay, Richard, what do you got
All
for
right.
your third?
By the way, I'd like to point out with the beach ball, there's
Yep.
nothing more exciting when somebody is able to get the beach ball from like the second deck to the third deck.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
that's magnificent. Yeah.
That's worthy of a standing ovation in any stadium. My
Do you
third
think
choice
do you think
is
other beach stuff would be good? Like if somebody's passing around a beach chair, throwing a bucket of sand,
Love it.
people just
Yes.
wet sand. Just
I thought it was beach stuff.
A
Your third choice?
pointed umbrella is just speared through some 75-year-old guy.
Passing a surfboard, throwing a surfboard to the upper deck. What were you gonna say, Richard? What's your third?
my third choice. Staying the whole game.
Oh
Hmm.
yeah.
I am and my oldest has inherited this from me. I am very much a you must stay the whole game sort of thing. And for baseball games, I look at it like this. I go to Dodger Stadium as much for the experience of going to Dodger Stadium than I do what being concerned about wins and losses. Because to Michael's point, there's 162 games. If the Dodgers lose this game, they're probably going to win 5 in a row after that.
Mhm.
So I'm not sweating it too much. So I'm going to the game just to, eyeball all the other weirdos who showed up to the game and make
Yeah.
fun of them with my kid and eat trashy food and drink too much beer. And there happens to be a game that's going on. That's great too. So I paid however much for my ticket and for parking and for concessions and everything else. I'm
Yeah.
going to get my 3.5 hours worth. And I feel the same way whether it's a 1-run game or it's a 10-run blowout. You got to stay till the end of the game.
So I had an experience. The only I went to 3 Dodgers games, I think, in the 20 years I lived in LA, and went with my nephews and my brother, and there were some persons who had been drinking a lot of alcohol, and when we left to go get ready to do the run around on the field thing,
Yeah.
those persons were very critical in that they observed that we were leaving the game early. Do you
Mm.
do you think it's
Well, don't do that. Don't be an asshole about it.
yeah,
I mean, if people
well,
want to
yeah,
leave early, they it's their choice. They're
yeah,
missing out. They're wrong, but you don't need to be an a-hole about it.
yeah. Yeah, I was actually trying to explain, "Hey, we're gonna go run around on the field." That was not accepted
Oh.
as as a valid
Hey, why don't you run around on this, buddy?
Yeah.
You know,
Just leave it alone.
I had sworn that I was going to take Felix to a Dodger game this year, but you know, it's only 81 of them that I could have taken him to.
Right.
What are you gonna do? You miss some, you win some, you lose some. He doesn't have a terrible interest in sports as it is.
Mhm.
But I expect the first game that we go to is going to not be a full game affair, just for my own sanity.
Yeah.
One of my choices that I had on my others receiving consideration ballot here was
Mm.
taking a young kid to a game
Yeah.
Hmm.
because
Like
that.
I want him to
Mm,
experience how lush it is and how different thing it is than watching a movie in a movie theater or watching TV at home or whatever. But at the same time, I'm fully aware that this is not going to be a 3-hour experience. It is going to be. We'll see.
yeah, I
We'll
will
see
give.
where we go.
I'll give an asterisk if you've got little kids. That is fair.
Okay. What's the final choice from you, Michael Winfield?
My final choice is that magnificent scoreboard.
Hmm.
I got to tell you, I love that football stadiums are constantly trying to one up each other, having like the world's biggest, the world's longest, the world's most high
Uh-huh.
def, the most nonsensical thing that you could have
Hmm.
in the middle of this arena when you're trying to watch, like, uh, 22 guys run into each other from 1,000 yards away. I love that there is this thing where like there is a live experience going on that you're not going to see, but like a lot of the time you're just like this huge glowing LED thing is just like jumping out at you with ridiculous stats and faces. And listen, I'm not a uh, Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim fan, but man, that rally monkey, I am all about it. It's
Describe the
I
rally monkey. I don't know.
It is like a little like capuchin type monkey or
Uh-huh.
something that uh if the Angels need something to happen, it's just like a crazy like video package that
Hmm.
plays on the screen, and the monkey goes wild and he like starts beating a bat around and I don't know, claws off some guy's face or does some, it's like ridiculous. It's like, there's a monkey wearing a sombrero. All
Hmm.
in. I'm all in on whatever the AV club does behind the scenes to get the crowd going, whether it's like the Dodger Stadium like PA people playing the harpsichord or whatever, what is the organ
Yeah.
with ridiculous music combined with cheesy 1960s home run graphics, or if it is this beautiful huge high def thing that shows a video. I love that how much of the game is weirdly not just about on the field, but it
Hmm.
is all these things that, boy, I do need a Modelo right now. Hold on. So it's like Hornitos tequila. You're right. Scoreboard. I do need that. Spirit of 76, we are getting gas from there afterward. This weird combination of advertising and high def and ridiculous video
Mhm.
packages and the kiss cam and all that stuff. I think it's really as much a part of going to see live sports as it is being a part of this audience where all these
Mhm.
people are being forced to watch this ridiculous stuff together.
I love it. I love it. I have you been to the Rams stadium? Don't they have like amazing video
I
stuff?
haven't yet. I
Oh,
haven't yet, but that's one of those, it's one of the newest buildings, the newest stadiums, and I'm sure it's either has the biggest screen or
Most high def or something.
there's something, I'm sure it's like the volume,
yeah. I imagine there's a screen in the seat in front of you, and you could watch. I don't know, like any movie or something. It's probably got Netflix in it. You
Oh,
could
that'd be great.
do
Yeah.
it.
You have Avatar playing during the
Yeah,
game.
Avatar. What's your final choice, Richard Manfredi?
All right. So going to a sporting event and then getting lost in the parking lot after said
Oh,
sporting event.
oh.
Name me a more iconic duo than that. I'll wait. I
Okay, this is the story. Like I've just heard. Now, this is all your choices spell childhood endangerment because you each one. My oldest, the beer, timing the beer, and I'm spending all this money on beer, and now I'm lost in the parking lot. I'm
Remember,
staying the whole
he
game.
tailgated before.
I've
Yeah,
tailgated before. I've eaten and drank all games. I'm stuffed and I'm drunk.
yeah. This is actually
I've
a deposition, not a podcast. It
we
feels like this
stayed
is
we stayed the whole game, so now I'm probably beat from the heat.
yeah,
And now I am wandering around the parking lot aimlessly, trying
yeah,
to find a black SUV, of which roughly 40% of all cars at Dodger Stadium are black
yeah.
SUVs.
But it's hard. It's hard to find your car, even if you put the little map thing in your phone or something like that.
Even if you do the map thing, we'll take a picture of our parking spot, relative to where the stadium is. But then it's like you got to remember what exit you came out of, and sometimes the exit you came in is not the exit they kind of funnel you out toward. And if that gets screwed up, then the photo's not matching up anymore, and it's a mess.
Hmm.
I've spent, and this could be theme parks, it could be county fairs, it could be sporting events. I don't want to know how much of my life I've spent wandering around parking lots trying to find my car. Definitely hours. Definitely multiple hours. 10
I'm always afraid I'm
hours
going to
of my
look at
life?
the wrong, like I'll look at the wrong photo and say I'm in Goofy 7B. No, this is
That's
Dodger Stadium. Oh shit.
Sir, this is a Wendy's.
uh, and there's nothing. You've had all the fun already. There's nothing fun about just walking around a parking lot with everybody's
Walking around the parking lot, even when even if you do find your car, it's a good half hour to get out of the parking
yeah,
lot.
yeah.
And you probably got your kids with you, and invariably my youngest one has to go to the bathroom the second we get out of the stadium.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, why didn't you tell us 5 minutes ago? I didn't have to go back then.
Yeah.
Thanks, buddy.
I feel like, I guess in wrapping up, I feel like I went to, unfortunately, due to pandemic times, I went to the Dodger Stadium more to get COVID shots than I did for games the last few years in LA. But it certainly is such a great experience. And I know we're talking about sporting events in general. And it's interesting we didn't mention anything in regards to, like, you guys sat through a lot of kickball games and things like that, but that's
Yeah,
not
it's boring as
much
hell.
of an event. Yeah.
That's boring as hell.
Is there anything in all the choices?
Look, I
Was there
loved
anything
playing
particular
kickball,
to
but
seeing a soccer
watching
match?
it was
That's
gross.
actually really interesting. I'm surprised because Richard, you're a big time soccer nerd and love to
Yeah.
bang a drum with those dorks. How did that not make your list?
What I couldn't figure out exactly how to drop that in there. I thought about like the hardcore supporters section,
Mm.
but that's really a
Mhm.
soccer specific thing, and I thought that it might be better to do stuff there's a little bit more relatable to people who follow different sports.
Okay. Well, kind of tangential to that, Jack White is on a Broken Record podcast, recent episode, and he's asked if he knows why Seven Nation Army is being used so much in stadiums, and he's kind of got a couple of theories in music theory and whatnot, how that tune kind of fulfills and also kind of disrupts humans' innate music theory. That we kind of have a sense of where a tune is going to go as soon as we hear it. But I know we talked about that at some point on our podcast many months ago. But so let's do some picking. I kind of like the free giveaways. I really like the tailgating thing. Michael, the glee that you have in whatever eye wash, hyperkinetic, epileptic seizure inducing graphics are putting up on the scoreboard. That's really
Thank you.
fun to see that. And I also got a feel for the vibe in the wave. It's kind of the thing that we all kind of enjoy when we're up there in enjoying it. So do I have one more? Or is that all four?
No, that's all four.
Oh shit,
Yeah.
Richard, I think you got the shaft this time around. But
That's all right. It'll happen.
Okay, all right. This has been the
I
Mount
mean,
Rushmore.
God damn it, Jeff.
Oh no, there's going to be a soccer hooligan. That's the soccer stuff you were keeping in your back pocket.
Oi.
Oh boy. This is the Mount Rushmore of attending a sporting event. I'm always Jeff.
I'm Richard.
I'm Michael.